When gay marriage was legalized in 2015, this community saw its first wave of real acceptance. But then the they, thems, and zers showed up and extended LGBT to include half the alphabet, and it kinda messed things up for our reputation. Instead of sexuality being one small trivial aspect of our character, people started to make it their entire personality. When I was in high school, a girl called me a faggot and then proceeded to ask why I chose to be gay. But just 4 years later, that same girl changed her Instagram pronouns to she, they, and put bisexual in her bio. You could never convince me that girl's anything more than an empty vessel mindlessly absorbing whatever opinion is most popular at the time. Once the fact that there are only two genders becomes mainstream again, she'll delete the pronouns and put God is love in her bio instead because being a trad wife is trending. It's obvious to me that LGBT has become some sort of social contagion. I don't believe for a second that girl ever actually believed she was bisexual. I think some of her friends claimed to be queer and she didn't want to feel left out. This process likely repeated itself with every new person that got added to their friend group. Either be gay like the rest of us, or at the very least conform to all of our ideologies. Failure to comply meant exclusion from the group, and as social creatures, exclusion is our biggest fear. Knowing that makes it really easy to see how groupthink develops into millions of people all believing the same lie. Somehow the alphabet soup community got wrapped up in politics, and it's never been the same since. It's impossible to escape the instantaneous judgments made about me when my sexuality is recognized. There's an immediate perception that I'm illogical, easily offended, and looking for a reason to call you a homophobe. We're no longer seeing people as individuals with unique ideas and varying opinions, but instead putting them into a box based on their assumed political beliefs. If you're a gay vegan, you're immediately labeled as woke. Which is hilariously true a lot of the time, but can we stop pretending like every person is a carbon copy of the next one? There's unlimited variation in the human condition, and not everyone can be shoved into the same cardboard box. When you fail to see someone as a human being rather than a political idea, it's immediately dehumanizing and leaves us unable to connect. In 2019, my senior year of high school, my photo didn't get put in the yearbook because I refused to wear a woman's drape. Let me add context. There were two tops that the graduating class could wear. A V-neck drape with a pearl necklace for the girls, and a tux with a tie for the boys. You know damn well you're not about to catch me clutching some girly-ass pearls. So I went to the principal's office and respectfully asked for permission to wear the tux for my photos. He laughed at me and said, absolutely not. In 2019, I shrugged it off, but in 2024, that's a lawsuit. That's how much things can change in just 5 years. Now that same school openly allows boys to have long hair and wear skirts, something that one of the guys I went to school with was removed from class and suspended for. When the social pressure was applied, they folded like lawn chairs. None of them did it because they wanted to. They did it because they felt like they had to. Now they're being publicly praised for being an accepting and non-discriminatory school, but I know the truth. This story has a very important message. People will conform even if it doesn't align with their personal beliefs, if it means acceptance. You might think you're successfully spreading your ideas when you see companies putting up pride flags and schools changing their rules to conform to new gender ideas, but none of it is genuine. You haven't successfully changed their beliefs about anything, you've merely given them incentive to lie. People will both literally and figuratively put on a mask in order to blend in and avoid confrontation. Millions of people have disagreed with woke culture this entire time, but you didn't know it because they made it impossible for them to voice their honest opinion without the threat of being ostracized or deplatformed. But behind closed doors, in the privacy of the voting booths, the truth is revealed. You can't force people to believe in something they don't want to believe in, and trying to only incentivizes them to play pretend. You're surrounded by wolves in sheep's clothing, and you did it to yourself by weaponizing cancel culture. This past election should have shown you that people will nod their head in agreement and then turn their back on you the second you look away. You can't blame them for their dishonesty when you failed to give them any other choice. Nobody wants to be labeled as a homophobic racist or lose their job for being politically incorrect. If you wanted honesty, then you should have given them the opportunity to speak it without the threat of public humiliation. Wokeness ruined LGBT the day it became so focused on minorities that it forgot about the masses.
This ain't cheddar, this quiche.
Got it, Mr. Ready, 30 seconds on my back. 30 seconds on
I make a call. Nigga, you can take the score. We up on the board. And we all live lavish. If I want it, I'ma have it.